to The Creative Moment, Season 10, Episode 2. Still going on our 10th season here. Obviously, we took a break. Last couple weeks had this weird thing called a wedding in the family. So stay tuned on the YouTube. We might have the best man speech uploaded. I don't know. It was pretty good. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
But anyway, The Creative Moment, your hosts, Dante and Jamie Bullhauer. Yeah, we've been going 10 seasons strong. So let's start it off.
We're like in the top 2% of podcasts.
Yeah. Not for listens.
Yeah.
For length.
No, for length. Yeah. We'll try to get.
So today we were talking about, quote, life articles and stuff.
That was an intense text I sent this morning.
So that's kind of our topic today. Do you have a specific article or what?
So one of the things I was just saying about, like, since we did take a break and we had big life moments and stuff, but creativity and thinking, one thing that stood out, because I sent you an article about Lenny Kravitz, but I was also like getting ready for the wedding and everything. I'm like packing my notebook, and I'm all like thinking, okay, yeah, I'm going to be inspired. And the Muse didn't hit at all. Now, I did blog about it, but not because, but I was all like, oh, this is going to be one of those times. I better make sure I have something, to write down, and nothing. Like, not a single line of poetry, nothing hit at all. And though connected, the other dot, I sent you the article about Lenny Kravitz, who was talking about his song, Are You Gonna Go My Way? Which
is an interesting article, actually.
Yeah, which he tore off the delivery bag paper to write down his ideas. And I was like, we've talked about it before, Big Gulps and Air Jordans, which is one of my favorite poems that I wrote while I was working at 7-Eleven on the night shift. And I wrote it on the back of a cigarette carton paper. And so it's just like the Muse, like, you can't control the Muse. You can't. It just hits when it does, and you better be ready. And that article, he just like found a pencil, got that stuff, and like that, to a degree, the article's about how that album changed his trajectory, his music career and stuff, and it's a fantastic album. But what would have happened if he hadn't just recorded what the Muse was hitting him with on, just like, oh, well, I don't have anything. I don't have my notebook. I don't have, what would have happened? It would have been gone. Like, he may not be where he was because of that.
Yeah, so Peter McKinnon has a kind of similar video where he's catching up with a photographer, and the photographer, they drove by a fence that he drives by all the time, and he goes, there was one day that it was like super snowy, and I forget if there was maybe like a horse in the background or something, but he says, I didn't have my camera on me, I just had my phone, and I thought this deserves like a camera justice, so I just won't take a photo. He says that photo has haunted me for years because I could have just taken a phone photo and been creative with whatever you have available to you. He says that haunts me because I've never seen it that picturesque again. And all because he was like, I want to take this with, like, if only I had my camera, and he just kept driving or whatever. And that, especially like for me right now, super busy. The creative muse is very fleeting. It doesn't feel like I've seen it in a while. When you get those little pockets, even if you don't have the time, make the time to write it down, whatever, to exercise your creativity, even like just because you have no idea if that's gonna come back and if that'll haunt you or whatever. Like at Brickyard yesterday, it wasn't really windy, but the leaves were still kind of falling from the trees, and I'm like, I want to take a video of this, but I'm doing 2 seniors, whatever. I was like, just take the video real quick. Like, we're just walking, whatever, it's fine. And that was just a cool moment that I'll be able to use that video, I'm sure, somewhere down the line. But exercising that just creative muse kind of helps me even just get a little more amped for the shoot that I'm currently doing, and just using the muse that comes to you, even if it's not super conducive to whatever environment you're in, is important, because then it can fuel you to get to the next time you see
Yeah.
it.
Well, and I think we talked about that earlier. Well, I mean, we're in our 10th year, but about where we let the moment go, be for whatever reason, maybe looking silly. You don't have time with customers, in that case, like, well, my phone isn't going to give the shot justice, but it's gone. Like, it's gone. And some things I do think come back, some ideas, as I go. But again, I've mentioned this too. This is where I disagree with Stephen King, because he's like, you shouldn't write stuff down. Like, yeah, no, I disagree. You don't know what it can lead to, because it's gone. It's gone. And like that photographer, yeah, I imagine that.
I've had moments where I'm like, why didn't I just take a photo, or why didn't I just do this? And then, because it's so much easier, like there is a street in Hastings, I forget where it even is now, but there's a street where like the trees kind of overhang and make a tunnel
Yes,
off the road. And there was just a day I was like on my one wheel and I didn't have my camera bag, and the fall colors were like super pretty, whatever. And I was just like, I don't have my same thing. I didn't have my camera. And then every fall, I'm like, I need to go back there. I need to it's so much easier to just not do it, not make the time to do that. That's like, okay, well, if you would have just taken the time that first time when you were there, you wouldn't be going every fall like, I should make it out to that street, get some photos. I should do that. And that's something I think I made a lot more time for when I was a lot less busy, like in high school, just randomly going out to a location, taking photos or whatever. But it's important to exercise that, because it does, especially when being creative is like your job. Feeling creative is not 100% of the time, even though you're being creative, so to speak. So when you actually feel creative, using that as an avenue to just even keep creating is important.
Yeah. And you have to sometimes. So if you follow me on Instagram, I mean, that's where I get with a weird. I'm not a photographer, but I enjoy.
The flower photos I saw the other day was really good. I forget which one it was.
I was just thinking. So the ones of the little sunflowers on the road, the people were cutting those off. They were right there on the lawn, and I stopped and I said, "I know you think I'm going to look silly, but I just think this would be a cool picture." And I'm gonna stop and take it. He's like, "Oh, that's cool." Snipped one off, dropped it right with before I took the picture. But I was like, I just thought it was interesting because I had the roses like all in full bloom, and then the sunflowers were on the ground, in the gutter. And it was it's the end of it's fall, and I was just I was on my walk, but I was like, I could have easily just walked past because they were there. They were trimming theirs. And I'm like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to take the picture and tell them that, and so you have to, I don't know. Sometimes it's ease or it feels like it's a lot of work to stop and record and time and not the right equipment. And that's where like the Lenny Kravitz one, like, I'm sure he's very glad he tore off Chinese food delivery bag and wrote down the phrase and some of the notes for the song, because if that had been gone, his career would have been a whole, So if you ever get hit, when you get hit with the Muse, you got to do something. You got to record it, and you can't force it. Like I said, I had notebooks, I had my pencil, and I did not. The Muse didn't hit, and maybe it was because like I did blog about it. I did blog about that day and looking back, but I was just kind of more in the moment, and to a degree I'm not sad that I wasn't inspired. That's
another thing, and like you've mentioned this to me on some of my like hikes or whatever, to not bring the camera. It is a different feeling. Even though I did film the wedding, I didn't really film the wedding. I had the camera going. Being in the moment and experiencing it for what it is without necessarily creating directly from it or creating it is just kind of a it's just a different feeling when you're like creating a wedding day. You feel a little bit removed versus being a part of the wedding day, or being a part of the experience, part of the hike without the camera.
Yeah.
And just the, like we talk about it all the time, just the being present part of that. I feel like sometimes, even if you don't write something down or take a photo of it, you can tap into that feeling more because you were present, because you didn't have the camera, didn't have a pen, pencil, whatever, to immediately start creating because of it. Like I can tap into the wedding day emotions a lot more, and I don't think I took a photo on my phone the entire day of anything.
I did a little bit, I shared a couple, but I really kind of just put my phone away. Wasn't on social media, I wasn't he's there walking down the aisle, stuff like that. I just put the phone away just to.
But because I was so present in that moment, I can tap into that emotion and use it for creativity a lot more than I think I would have if I would have been with my phone camera or my camera out or something like that.
And that's again, I did blog, but it was on Sunday is when I did. And they actually just an article came out of a new study that kind of said that for those people who overly take photos on their phone, they don't remember the moments as well as somebody who was in the moment. Like it's having that, because you just capture it, and then just like social media, we forget. We just let it sit there.
Similar to when I am like taken aback by a mountain range or whatever. I take photos of it, whatever, and I just move on. And now, like, there's some things I'm like, I remember being amazed at how like vast this was, or this, that, the other, but I can't necessarily like tap into it because it was just like click, click, click. Okay, we still got to keep going on the hike or do this or whatever. And it's like, that's where like not taking the camera, I probably would sit there for more time or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, instead of just click, click, click. Not that I'm like purposefully doing it, but where's the next photo spot? Where's the next, like, are we going back? Are we doing it? Like, I have the photo now. What else is there to do? It's like, well, just sit.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what fills your fire, so that when the Muse does really hit, or just personally to get through busy times, to get through, and we don't have that much in our daily life either. Just being there, being in the moment, and being human in that sense.
Yeah. And it's interesting traveling a lot lately. It's just been difficult to like tap out of the monotony and get creative. Like, it's fun to people watch at airports and stuff, and usually that kind of does get my creativity a little bit, just because you see so many different things. Like, and up at airports is everybody's first day on earth apparently, but when you're just like, I feel like I've just been like going through the motions lately. Not to my clients. I've been present for all of you, promise. But it's like, there are these cool moments and I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool, but I don't really care. I just want to go home, or I just want to, like, the fall colors in Minneapolis were really cool and stuff like that. I'm like, well, we got to update our flight and get an earlier flight and do this. And then I just want to be home. I haven't been home. And it's like, where can I just stop? Like, how do I tap out of the monotony and get really creative and give my full, like, creative energy into this, when it's like, oh, I'm in the car, I'm on the plane, I'm in the car, I'm on the plane. I don't know. It's just been an interesting couple months with trying to stay creative, even though I'm creating more than I ever have. Again, not my clients. But feeling as like less creative as ever, even though the quantity is more. I think the quality is still good, but the like we talked about, the trying new things, or the just creative part has not felt there.
Yeah.
And it's like, and running a business is like, well, what do you do? Just make the money and be creative later. You have a mortgage to pay, but I mean, I don't know. It's been weird. And to just be present has been difficult, because it's always the next shoot, and it's, I don't know.
Yeah, well, and you're I'm 108 years old, so I've been here a long. That you have a crazy routine. You have a routine, but it's chaotic. Do you know what I'm saying?
Feel like a routine. I mean,
but yeah, it's and tapping in, a few things that we talked about before, but and one of the reasons for one of your birthday presents, the random card thing, at the end of the day, it's just, I think, being as intentional as possible every single day, and knowing it's that case. Just teaching to me, I hope people appreciate the creativity that I do in my assignments and my lecture, and we have to cover vocab, we have to cover the nuts and bolts, but I really do try to bring something, and so there's that grind, except it's a very scheduled grind of that, and that little bit, like an idea, just because it's based off of you draw one of the cards on your trip on Monday, and you have that, you just take it with you, like, okay, I gotta try to get this in, and so that you got this shoot, you got your time, but it's like, okay, hey, this little snap, this little moment of creativity to just try to fill the bucket a little bit. But you do a good job. I know that it's hard now because you're added level of responsibilities, but when you take your small trips and stuff,
it's much needed right now.
I'm like, it's so, like, do you know how jealous I would love to just go. I called Grandpa Hudson, and he was like, in Black Hills, what, like, before the wedding? He's like, yeah, I just drove up here. I'm like, okay.
He needs that more than anybody. If you ever been to Douglas, Wyoming, even their restaurants suck. I mean, there's not much out there.
I know, but it just, just embrace a little bit of intention, and I know that your part of your creativity gets fed into the customer. I just saw some of the new that you shared on Instagram of the Toro, with that, and it just kind of I was like, oh, you gotta remember to think about. I know the workers, sometimes you can see them smile, but it's like, just think about, they're probably showing their kids, they're probably, and keeping in touch with that aspect, that the things that you do, even with that shoot, I guarantee that they're probably like, hey, look at Dad. There's Dad.
They asked me to send them the photos most of the time.
Yeah.
The sales guys are like, if you got any cool ones on me.
Yeah. And
All
so,
right.
and that part feeds also, that aspect of remembering Simon Sinek, remembering the why of what you're doing. Doesn't always change the stress level, but it at least gives it a better.
Well, there has been, part of the things I've enjoyed lately of breaking the monotony is just connecting with other people. I had a buddy from Memphis come up, and we went and had coffee, and that was super fulfilling creatively, even though we didn't actually do anything creative. We were just talking. And then met with another person that goes to Hastings College, and just met with him just to catch up. And when I deal with so many just client-based interactions, just having a creative interaction that's just about whatever creativity, that has been a portion of breaking out of just the chaotic routine that has been good. And that does kind of spark the creative muse, even if you're not actually doing anything creative or seeing anything creative. Just I think we have a whole episode about it, just connecting with other creatives.
Yeah, your community.
Yeah, helps a lot, just even if it's for an hour cup of coffee or something like that.
Yeah, and I've been feeling the importance of community. So the Jam changed their hours; they're going an hour later. So okay, I'm a little bit like, I don't, yeah, it's an hour later, and so now I'm already tired when they normally, so I haven't actually got to be involved with that community, and it's just kind of like, just that little shot of interaction and sharing the poetry and the energy. That's another aspect of just that you're tap into that community. Those people are getting the chance to talk with friends you haven't seen in a while. Memphis, huh?
Who's the Memphis Grizzlies graphic designer?
Oh,
yeah. He was born in Washington. He has a whole. I'll tell you about it later.
Yeah.
But it was cool. I mean, he had a whole ton of story. Like in Hastings, I mean, you kind of know what goes on in Hastings.
Oh yeah.
Like there's not a ton to talk about that. The person across from you doesn't already know. So it was fun to just catch up with him and stuff. But yeah,
that's life.
Yeah, such is life. This will be posted hopefully on my flight back from New Jersey, actually on Tuesday. So thanks again for watching and supporting us throughout these 10 seasons so far. We should be fully back from our kind of 2-week hiatus. There's no marriages happening anytime soon. I can promise you that. But anyway, this was the Creative Moment, Season 10, Episode 2, and we'll see you guys in a couple weeks.